Hey everybody. So we haven't had hockey for a couple of days now. The Stanley Cup final doesn't start until tomorrow night. So I figured now would be a good time to talk about some other topics not revolving around what's going on with the final right now. So let's talk about Seattle. It looks like it's all but set that Seattle is going to be the next team in the NHL. They will be the next expansion team. They will make it a 32 team league and they should be in. I'm hearing 2020. That seems to be the target date for Seattle to enter the league will be the 2020 season. Um, so it seems all but a sure bet that Seattle is in and that they'll be the next team. So that leaves us with alignment issues again. So the way the league sits right now is the Eastern Conference has 16 teams and the Western Conference has 15. It's how obviously one conference has to have an odd number because we have 31 teams. So when you break it down into divisions, all the divisions have 8 teams except for the Central, which has 7. And that's the missing team that would make it 16 and 16. Well, with Seattle coming in, Seattle is right on the West Coast. They're not going to be in the Central Division, at least you wouldn't think. Geographically, it wouldn't make sense to put them in the Central Division. So they're going to be a Pacific team, just like the 3 California teams, Arizona, Vegas, and the 3 Western Canadian teams, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. So you're going to put Seattle in the Pacific Division with those teams. The problem with that, though, is that would then put the Pacific Division at 9 teams, while the Central Division would only have 7, and the 2 divisions in the East would both have 8. So your numbers would kind of get all over there. Yes, Seattle does even out the conferences, which I think is good and needs to happen. You will then, with the addition of Seattle, you'll have 16 in the West as well as 16 in the East. However, the divisions get a little messy. Now, when thinking of Seattle, you've got a natural rivalry already with Vancouver, so you have to have those 2 teams in the same division. That's your main rival from the get-go. You would also think that they would keep the Seattle in the same division with the 3 California teams because there's another West Coast rivalry there. I, with the 3 California teams, anytime those teams play, it's fantastic hockey, and they're all 3 of them are really strong rivals with each other. I don't know if Seattle will immediately become that strong of a rival with them, but I think give them a couple of years in the same division and you're going to have a really, the Seattle's going to blend right in with the rest of those California teams as far as rivalries and intensity of games and, matchups between those teams are concerned. So that's 5 teams that all need to be together right there. San Jose, LA, Anaheim, Seattle, and Vancouver. You cannot break them up. So that leaves Calgary and Edmonton, who you're not going to break up and you don't want to break away from Vancouver. And then you have Arizona and Vegas. Vegas, do you want them switching divisions already? And geographically, I guess Vegas would probably make the most sense as far as becoming a central team. But do you want them switching divisions already? I don't think so. And they're already in one season have starting to really develop a really strong and exciting rivalry with the LA Kings. So I wouldn't want to take that away and make them go from playing 5 times a year to only playing 3 times a year. So that leaves Arizona. Do you move Arizona to the Central Division? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense geographically per se, although I guess they could have a pretty good rivalry with Dallas. But the league has a real they've got a real situation here that they're going to have to figure out. I guess you could leave 9 teams in the Pacific and 7 in the Central, but I think the end goal for the NHL is to have everything even out with 8 teams in every division, 16 teams in both conferences. The something that really could throw, actually it wouldn't really throw anything into it, it would really kind of fix it, would be the possibility of Calgary moving. Now, I do not want to see Calgary relocated, but this was a big topic back in September before the season got started. There was a lot of talk about Calgary relocating. Um, they have arena issues. They play in a very old building. The NHL wants them to get a new building. Calgary's owners will not foot the full bill for building a new building. They want public money for it. The city of Calgary does not want to give any public money for it or any taxpayer dollars towards building a new arena. So they're at an impasse there, and there is the possibility, as awful as it would be, of Calgary losing their team and relocating. And that would really stink because Calgary is a great hockey city. It'd be another Canadian team gone, which would really, I think, hurt the NHL. And it's not like fan support's a problem there. If a team relocates because no one shows up to the games, Arizona, Florida, Carolina, someone like that, if they can't draw enough people in the seats every night to fund the team, then those are the teams that should be relocating. But this would not be a relocation because of that. This would be because you have greedy owners and a city that won't budge or compromise at all as far as money goes, and it's going to be over a stupid new building rather than a team that doesn't have the fan support where they are. Calgary has great fan support. That building is rocking most of the time. They're fine as far as attendance is concerned. It would be really devastating and needless for Calgary to lose their team over something like this. But if Calgary does end up leaving, Houston is said to be the where they would go, the next city in line to get an NHL team after Seattle. Natural rivalry with Dallas, huge market. I think they've always supported minor league hockey. I think having an NHL team in Houston would actually be really, really successful. I just don't want it to come from Calgary losing their team. If anyone should lose a team in this league, it's Arizona or Carolina. That's where those are the places that should be losing their teams. But if Calgary does end up moving to Houston, that would even things out because then you would have eight teams in the Pacific again with Calgary gone and Seattle in, and then adding Houston would give you your 8 Central Division team, and the league would be set. You'd have your 8 teams in every division, 16 in each conference, and everything would be all set. However, that requires Calgary moving, which I really don't think is going to end up happening. I really don't. I don't think you can rip a team away from a fan base as supportive and as good as Calgary. I think Calgary deserves a team, and I think they're going to continue to have a team. They'll figure out the arena situation. When it comes down to it, I don't think anyone really wants the Flames to leave. So, the league has an interesting decision here to make because Seattle is all but set to be the 32nd NHL team. 2020 is the year that I'm hearing as far as when they'll start, playing in the NHL. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the division alignment and this conference alignment. It's going to be hard to pull a team out of the Pacific Division because they all geographically and rivalry-wise belong there. But do you really want one division having 9 teams and another division having 7? I don't think that that's ideal either. So I don't know what the NHL is going to do. They've got a lot of options, and a lot also depends on this Calgary arena situation. But I guess we'll find out. By the time Seattle's actually officially in the NHL, we'll figure. I guess we'll find out what the NHL decides to do. So let me know in the comments down below what you think the NHL should do for realignment. That I've just talked about a few different options. there's certainly more that I haven't mentioned yet. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But definitely Seattle will be the next NHL team. I'm 99% sure of that. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links in the description below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to you soon.